This is the Pete Wong Podcast, sharing the things that I love with those that I love. I've always wanted to talk about the things that I care about in life. People have told me time after time, why don't you just share more of you? And with that, let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's The Pete Wong Podcast. How are you all doing out there? I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been on here with y'all. I've missed you. I've missed sharing conversations with you, being able to share my thoughts, and being able to receive the comments and feedback, and being able to just share with others out there that are listening. Today's topic is wanting to talk about that. I want to talk about what's been going on with me, something I felt like was relevant to what we like to do here, talk about mental health, talk about self-care. I really like that song. Is it by Dinah Washington? What a Difference a Day Makes. What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. If not 24, it could be a week, it could be months, it could be a year. And a year ago, if we take the time to think about it, things were probably different for most of you. I was in a very different place a year ago. And I don't mean to start off the bat saying things were different as if things were good, things were bad. I want to talk today about how in life things change and how we handle change and what goes on in our thoughts, in our minds, in our conscious and subconscious. So the first thing is that I'm recording in my apartment. And it's similar to where I was living before, but now I'm actually been living by myself. And a year ago, I was living with my best friend, one of the coolest guys ever. His name's Tou Saiko Lee. He's a hip hop artist and does incredible work in the community and helping so many people. And I'm actually wearing his shirt. I didn't even think about it. But if you could see his shirt, let's see. Oh, there you go. So it says Mangeo Day, and it's written in Hmong, and it's a song on his album. Check out his album, Tou Saiko Lee. He just released his album. His album dropped, and it's hot like pancakes. But a year ago, things were very different. I just want to begin today's episode putting that out there. Because a year ago, things for many of us had changed or have changed. And for some people, it changed in a negative way, changed in a very difficult way. And for others, it changed in what could be a more positive direction, what could be a more in their favor. Or for many of us, it was a back and forth, up, down, left, right, upside down, inside out. And every day was something different. Every day was uncertainty, unknown, and we were learning how to grasp with that. Because of the pandemic, we were kind of, for the first time in a long time, I think, into it together. And when I say into it together, it's kind of like a sports team. When you're playing sports, you got two teams, most likely two teams. On the most likely basis, you got two teams, and they're going head to head, and it's a competition, and one person's trying to use the skills under the rules of the game to win or to accomplish a certain goal. I feel like the pandemic brought us to our knees and said, I want you all to come together and figure it out. So it was kind of nice to have that. But at the same time, I know that it was also very terrifying, and for so many families losing loved ones, a very difficult time, and still probably is. And even now, some things have changed and some things have stayed the same and some things are still unknown. And we're all trying to flow, live, figure it out, let it go. I'm sharing this not because I'm looking for an answer, because I wanted to start off today's topic with something that I felt everyone could relate to, which is how in 2020 we all had to make the choice of adapting to new circumstances or accepting the consequences, good or bad, for not adapting, or adapting and facing the consequences, good or bad. I know that's a lot. I'm basically just saying how we're making choices and how our choices affect every day, how circumstances sometimes don't allow for us to make the choices that we may want to make, but we still make a choice, whether we have to or whether it's made for us. I've been away, not even posting on social media that much as I'd like to. It's been interesting because I wasn't even intending or trying to be away or to not be active, because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy taking the time to share the things that I care about, the perspective that I see, and the things that I'm learning. And by sharing it, I enjoy the opportunity, the possibility of learning something new as well from others, just by doing it. And so that's why I like doing it. But sometime between July and August, if you remember a few episodes before, it was like one or two episodes before, I had shared about my anxiety attack and having to deal with that. And as I concluded, that was the result of things changing, some circumstances that I was not prepared for, or I was not mentally prepared for. And my mind, my thoughts started to drift off in directions that I was unaware of. And now I am more aware of and actually have tools. And I'm continuously learning. Even a few minutes ago, saw something on Instagram about anxiety. The reason for my anxiety was because I had some anxiety around not sure where my income would be coming from. I was on unemployment, and it was getting rather confusing whether the unemployment was ending, whether it was continuing. And in the meantime, I just got an apartment that I now have to pay for myself. So these kind of challenges that I'm sure many of you face day to day with. And that's why I'm sharing this, is because I'm not immune to these type of things. After the anxiety attack, I realized that I had to probably go back to work and figure out what I was gonna do, because now I had an apartment and other expenses. What was different this time than previous times is that for the whole year, I got to wake up in the morning and in a sense live the way that I always wanted to, that I always intended to. Maybe not specifically, because if I could envision it, I would probably be on an island, wake up and roll over and have a coconut, fresh coconut juice and nature around me. I had the time and the freedom to do what I could think of, what my heart was excited and there's just something really soft and really organic and really that resonates with me, that aligns with me, by just thinking about, if I wake up doing the thing that I love, whether I get paid or not, and that's enough, then that should be enough. For some reason, I'm guilty of it, though I've been working on it. I have a programming in me that defaults to, that's enough, but you also have to make money, or you also have to make a career out of yourself, or also you have to accomplish this. When we were in the pandemic, I just really enjoyed waking up, making the kind of breakfast that I wanted, realizing the importance of taking care of my health and focusing on that, focusing on my relationships with people, making phone calls if I felt necessary, picking up the phone when someone tries to call me if I felt it was important, if I felt like it was necessary as well. Maintaining and sustaining the life that brings value to you, not think about anything else. And that's when I hopped on and began to do the podcast, because I knew I had time for it and because I knew I wanted to do it. I didn't think about getting paid. I didn't think about nothing like that, because I didn't really care about it. I didn't really care about that first. I cared more about, I just want to do this. I want to share. I want to talk. I want to be able to talk to others and just get this stuff out there. And it was really nice. I felt like I was coming to my own. I felt like I was becoming the person that I was envisioning. And for the first time in my life, I didn't have the pushback. I didn't have the expectation that whether I created or society supports or a combination of both. And I don't know what it's I'm not sure exactly if what I'm saying makes sense. I think you listeners out there can relate. I hope you can relate. I guess what I'm saying is that I had spent so many years of my life, and I shared this in some of the first episodes because that was me reading chapters from my soon-to-be released book, chasing after something, trying to be something, trying to be someone, but never just accepting who I am today. Like, today is enough. And just waking up and doing what you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone. I want to add that. That's my own personal thing, to live your purpose, but make sure your purpose isn't hurting or harming others in the process. That's a good feeling. That's an amazing feeling. That's a remarkable feeling. And what I was learning from the people that helped me, that supported me, the books that I read, the podcasts that I listened to, the making mistakes and trying and over all those years of preparation, constant working at, and continues to be constantly working at, progressing. It showed me that, well, what about if you live your life envisioning exactly what you want, how you want it? And yes, things will come up, things will push against that. And the key is, how are you going to maneuver, be strategic, find yourself in various positions, be uncomfortable, and still prosper, and still align with the person that you need to be, want and need to be. Around July, August, I started a new job. I'm not going to say specifically what my job is. This job falls under, I guess, what people are calling retail. And it requires long shifts, using the body, hard work. I've never done this line of work. So when I got hired, I told them that I would be very open and flexible as far as my schedule, because I wanted to try it out. And what ended up happening is I ended up having to work at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. And then coming home and, having most of the rest of my evening, afternoon and evening. But what I found myself experiencing was I wasn't happy with myself. I don't know how to say it in any other words, but I found myself no longer being able to be the person that I know that I deserve to be. But yet, the world, I don't know how else to call it, like the world was forcing me to make choices and to make decisions. And again, I'm not sharing this to say I'm right or wrong, and I'm definitely not saying this. I just want to put out there, I'm not saying this to put down anyone or to say that this job isn't for others, and not even saying that this job isn't for me, because I'm actually finding perspective and positiveness out of it. I just want to share with you the process, because if this is what's going on in me, and the things that I've been dealing with anxiety, taking care of my health, and wanting to support others as they are doing theirs, I know that many of us have this battling in our minds. And maybe for some people that are listening, you don't battle this. And maybe this is what I'm working on in myself. And maybe this is where I need some support and I need some help. At this point in my life, at this moment, this is what I'm sharing. The job required getting up early and, taxing on the body. And then also, the hard thing is that even when you have a day off, you're like looking at the clock, like, oh, I got to go back to work tomorrow, or you're like planning things, ahead of time, just so you can make sure you can do the things that you want to do. And sometimes, because you're working early, you don't even have like an evening. Now, I know many of you may not relate to what I'm sharing because maybe this works for you. And that's awesome. I believe that there are many people that they found that this works for them. And that's amazing. That's really healthy. I'm just sharing that I realize that this particular schedule is not for me. Like the old Pete would say it like this: if I could choose, I would not do things this way. How would I change it? How would I do it? Then that's what the envisioning, the manifesting, and the all. What is it that I want? And all the practice and the tools that align with that are for. But the newer me is like trying to not listen to that part of me that used to doubt so much myself, and more lean into the Pete Wong that says, I envision my life this way, and therefore I deserve it to be this way, and I'm going to have it this way. It's very difficult for me to say that because it's the thing that I'm working on. I've been leaning hard into being this person that I know, that I've seen, that I've begun to live. That I can't take that away from myself. I can't allow myself to bend completely backwards to live a life that I know that I'm not intended, to live a life that I know I'm not meant for. At the same time, I'm also holding space for myself and holding grace for myself, knowing it's okay. Sometimes these difficult situations that happen to us, they're to give us perspective, and they're for us to learn something. And I feel like I have been. When I talk to people and I told them my situation, I told them, it's frustrating. I don't like my current schedule. Then people tell me, well, you could ask for certain days off. You could ask for, a specific schedule. That was a good answer. That definitely would have helped me a lot. And I guess my heart was saying, what is it that you really want, Pete? If you weren't thinking about having to pay for rent, having to pay for expenses, having to deal with certain responsibilities, what is it that you want? And you're going to send your energy in that direction. At the same time, you're also going to hang in the uncomfortable. And you're going to let the universe play it out for you. And then as the universe plays it out for you, you're going to make your choices. You're going to make your decisions. Because some of these choices and decisions are going to present themselves. Now, I don't know if that's too far out there, but that's exactly what's been happening. I'm saying this looking back the weeks previously. There was a month where things got really kind of bad because I wasn't very happy with myself, because I wasn't happy with my situation. But I was still doing it because I felt like we're here, we're doing it, we're in it. You can't step back now. I mean, you needed a job and now you got one. Let's do this. But at the same time, it made it very difficult for me to be the person that I want to, meaning I'm not seeing my family as much. I'm not seeing my friends as much. I'm not even able to spend, the quality time that I want to with Emily, my girlfriend. And And this has hurt me. I've gotten in more arguments. Basically, I guess the word is that I felt like I didn't have a grasp of who I was or who I am and what I was doing, and I was just going through the motions. But that's not to say that through all this I haven't continued my practice of self-care. I haven't continued my practice of living life the way that I want to, and being the person that I want to, and accomplishing the things that I want to. But all this is happening, and it's a wake-up call to me. It's been a wake-up call to me and the people that mean a lot in my life, that sometimes in life, it's okay to not the thing that I've learned through this time, through these difficult situations, though it's been straining on my relationships, though it's been straining on my own self-care, my own mental health, in certain aspects, it's also taught me to relax, to have faith, to believe, to never give up on the person that means the most, which has to be you. Don't give up on yourself. You can be, you can do, you can have exactly what you want, but it may not present itself the way that you ideally would like to. And here's the thing. I'm realizing that that's okay. I'm learning through this difficult time how to communicate better, how to be even more present, how to communicate this feeling of lack of control or self-doubt. And that's okay. By going through this experience, I've learned a lot about myself. In one aspect, I've learned that I can do this job that I never intended or never envisioned that I could, that I'm actually pretty good at it in some aspects, not all of them, that I enjoy working with people, that I enjoy listening to their stories, listening to their reading the room, reading the energy, reading what their needs are in the day. Also learning a lot about how I have an issue and a problem with trying to be this person, trying to attain a certain status quo that's been somehow ingrained in me. Nobody's fault. It's just something that I need to work on. But I appreciate that I've been able to learn how how it's healthy to want to be in control, but to realize and recognize you have no control. You can want control. You can desire control. But what happens when you submit to letting that go? So what I've been focusing on in the day-to-day tasks or the day-to-day goings, and I hope this may help the listeners out there, is every day live life as you feel like you deserve, all the things that you want. But somehow, also create space for letting go. And maybe I can't quite break this down for you because maybe I'm still learning. Maybe I'm still in the process of understanding it. Or maybe I'll never understand it. But let me tell you, once I came to that understanding, even in my relationships, I'm getting really personal here, but hopefully she won't mind. With Emily and I, it's been difficult because I haven't, ever since I started this job, I haven't been able to spend as much time as we have been. And I can't blame myself. And I'm definitely not blaming her. But I can't put the blame on myself because it's circumstances. But it's not an excuse for not being present, for not communicating what's not working or what needs to change, or, you know. And that's what I'm learning, is that that's growth. That's power. That's love. That's respect. That's everything. When you can not have control, but yet be able to communicate, be able to work through things that you don't have a grasp on, but you still want to project things that you care about. I do want to spend more quality time with you. I do want to have, I would love to have the freedom that we had a year ago, but it's just not there anymore. But it's not an excuse to say, well, so then we just fight or we just have arguments. No, that's not it. And I'm so grateful that I have someone like her in my life, because our relationship has shown me so many things. In this last month alone, how you can work on yourself. You can take care of the things that you feel like you need to take care of. But at the same time, you also have to work on your relationships with others, but with others. You may not have the answer. You might not even have a clue. You might find it more difficult and more off-putting and not want to do it and not want to take care of it. But you have to trust, have faith, and walk forward. That's where you need to be. You don't need to know why. The answer will reveal itself. It will present itself by you just focusing on bringing value to your relationships, bringing value to you. I never know what I'm going to say in the episodes. I know I've been feeling these things very deeply, and I it was important for me to share it so I can gain perspective, and also so I can learn from you. So I would love it if those of you listening can relate or not relate, but if you have something to share, please let me know. I'd love to hear how you deal with it, what experiences, perspective you have. I actually feel pretty good about where things are heading. I want to take a second to just breathe with y'all. I hope you are taking time out of your day to just allow nature to present itself. If going for a walk helps you, if sitting down and like what I like to do, whether it's a guided meditation or just me sitting, taking deep breaths, just relaxing my body. Just reminding myself it's going to be fine. It's going to work out. It's going to work itself out. But the most important thing is for us to be living life, at least inside, filled with more joy, more content. I don't know if the word is content. I think it's just allowing things to be okay as is. Is that content? I don't know. Everything that I've shared in today's episode is not a knock, is not on anyone. I know many of you out there are working hard, and you may not be in an ideal situation. You may not be doing what you want to do, being where you want to be, surrounded by the people you want to be. But I'd be lying. I'd be denying myself, my truth, if I were to say that that's okay. You can change your situation. If you want to, you can. And I just want to put that out there, because this is what it's all about. Taking care of our mental health, making time for our self-care. It all ties in with how we look at life, how we perceive life, how we choose to interact, who we choose to interact with. I truly believe that if you're in a toxic environment at work, it's up to you to change it. It's up to you to either get out of that situation or talk to who you need to talk to. because it's usually fear that's driving the willingness to confront it, to confront the situation, to deal with the situation. I truly believe that if we take the time to realize what we really truly need and we go after that, what we need, not necessarily what we want. What is it that we need? When you wake up in the morning, what's the thing that pushes you, that drives you? And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about purpose. I'm talking about living life with joy, excitement, happy, healthy, all these things that we all deserve. What does that look like? Now, I'm just one person who's figuring it out in the process, but I'm so much in a different place than I was before. This is nothing to take away from anyone that's doing what they do. I have so much respect, and even more so, I now know because of what I've gone through, because of my training, because of shift in perspective, that I deserve the life that I deserve, what aligns with me. And I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. But we have to take the time to find out what that is. And I'm still figuring it out, but I'm that much closer than I've ever been. So I just want to take a minute here and just take a deep breath with all of you, and then we'll close out. Deep breath. Inhale. Take a couple deep breaths if that makes you feel better. If that helps, do it. Do it. Make time for it. Before I go, I wanted to say this really cool opportunity is coming up here in the early part of next month. Because of you listeners supporting the podcasts, the episodes, because of the guests that have been on the show, there has been interest for the Dakota County Library wanting me to teach a intro to podcast. It's just really cool because I'm doing something that I love, something that I care about, and now I'm able to share that with whoever shows up. I'm not sure if it's, it could be just for kids. I'm not sure. Very excited about that, and just excited to share with those participants the things that I've learned, the things that have helped me, and even my process. I guess that means I'll need to make sure I'm recording more episodes, and I'd love to have more guests. I have a few guests that have reached out to me and said that they're ready to go. I got one in particular, Ricky Hoffman. Get ready, coming for you, buddy, brother. So, all right, everyone. I already ran out of space and had to shift some things in mid-recording. Got to go get some groceries here. It's time. Get them nutrients, get them goods, get them healthy eats, all part of it. Okay, everyone, with that, I'll let you go. Please take care. Please be safe. And please keep others safe. With that, you are loved. You are worthy. You are enough. Blessings to all of you.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. And remember, you are loved, you are enough, and you are worthy. Blessings to all of you.